Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I'm back with a new layout and process video for Hip Kit Club, and this is my first layout using the beautiful new 2020 May kits, and I had to use this paper right away. It's from Vicky Bouton, and I cannot even with this paper. It's so pretty. I had to use it. I'm also going to use a couple of the cut files that are, if they're not up yet, they will be soon. This is a really cute floral cut file that's going to be up for the month of June, and I'm going to incorporate that into this layout in some way. So I wanted to use this pattern paper a lot on my layout. I didn't want to use the entire piece of it, but I wanted probably at least half of my layout to be those gorgeous, colorful rays. So my first thought was that I wanted it to be the top half of the layout. So I went ahead and cut it and kind of did a rough measure there. And I want to add some texture and some dimension to all of these rays. So I'm going to just cut each one just up until I get to the edge. And then that way they're all going to be separate, but they're all still going to be together. And what I'm going to do is kind of rough up the edges of each of these rays so there's a little bit of separation in between each one, and you're going to be able to see a little bit of the white background in between each one. And it's just going to give it some texture and bring it to life a little bit more so it's not completely flat. So I got my little edge distresser out that I have been using quite a bit lately, and I'm just going to very carefully run it along the edges as best I can without tearing it. And I actually did tear a couple of them, but I glued them back together. And then just use my hands to kind of fold up the edges and bend it up a little bit, and you can kind of see what I was talking about. You can kind of see a little bit of the white. I love how that looks. It just looks a little weathered and torn and just gives a little something extra. So then along the bottom edge of the rays, I thought I would add a little bit of something. And there's a lot of pattern papers from the stamp market, which are so gorgeous. I was so excited to see some of those in the kits this month. And one of these papers is this one. It's just a simple black and white stripe. And I knew that I was going to use a black and white picture. So I went ahead and added in a couple more elements of black and white. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue this strip down, and you're going to be able to see this just kind of underneath. It kind of just gives an anchor point to the bottom of the rays. And then this beautiful washi tape, I'm going to use that too. I'm going to reposition this black and white stripe piece. I had put it up too far and I felt like I couldn't see it enough. So I went ahead and peeled it up right quick and then just moved it down a little bit more. I want that as straight as I can get it, so I am going to use my ruler. And then this washi tape is gorgeous. It's rainbow stripes, and so it's going to match those beautiful rays up at the top. And so I'm just going to put a strip of that underneath the black and white, and that's just going to sort of be my anchor point there. And I'm going to go ahead and glue down the rays. And I wanted to make sure that I didn't glue the edges down because, you know, I wanted the edges to stay curled up. So I just added a little bit of glue at the beginning, and I knew that I wanted to stitch. I had to stitch through these sun rays, so I was planning ahead for that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue behind each one. And then here's the finished product of the background. You can kind of see there, it's very subtle because I matched each color thread to each sun ray, but just stitched along the edges of each color. And I just love that little bit of something extra that the stitching adds, and you can kind of see there how that's going to go. And now it's basically just building everything on top of it. There's my picture. I love this picture of my daughter. I may have scrapped it before, I don't know, but I just love it so much. She's having so much fun in the pool. And then I decided to turn the layout to the left, and I actually like the way it looks better going vertical rather than horizontal. It actually looks good any way you turn it because that sunburst paper just, oh, it's gorgeous. And for some reason, the footage of me adding clear gesso to the background here has gone missing, but I did add some clear gesso to the white section of the background. And then I'm going to pull out the 3 ink pads that we get in the color kit this month. They are from the stamp market. And I'm just going to kind of do the old packaging technique here. I'm going to stamp them onto some plastic, add a little bit of water, and then just kind of stamp it onto the background and let the color kind of run and spread. I'm using the red one and the orange one, Cherry Kisses and Melon Orange. I'm trying to mimic that reddish orange color in the sunburst. I always tend to go for blue when I'm making a pool layout, but I wanted to challenge myself to do something different and use colors that I don't normally gravitate toward. So I'm gonna add reddish orange to the background and just kind of see what I can get. Now, I thought that I would add in a couple of Lindy's sprays that we've gotten in previous kits. So I added the cherry again, which is the red color, to the plastic, and then sprayed in some of the yellow. Let me see which one that was. Yellow Rose of Texas, and it's kind of a golden yellow color. And so I thought that that would make a really pretty deep orange red color, and I'm just kind of adding it in. And the white cardstock that I'm using as my background is the textured cardstock from the color kit, so it's not the thick kind. So I didn't want to get too crazy with the liquid because, you know, it's gonna rip and tear eventually if I do so. And I mainly just wanted this color behind where the photo is gonna go, and so that's why I'm kind of trying to keep it small, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about there. So I'm going to start to play around with embellishments, and there are so many embellishments in the kits this month. There are beautiful pocket life cards as always. There are so many die cuts and stickers. It was just like a smorgasbord of beautiful things, and it was so hard to pick and choose because everything looked gorgeous. So I just went through everything off camera because it took me forever, and just made a pile of things that I thought would match. And I don't wind up using all of them, but I just started to play around with layering. I am going to layer in some of those die cuts, or not die cuts, cut file flowers, because it's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays at Hip Kit Club, we use die cuts. Die cuts, I said it again. Cut files in some way, shape, or form. And so, you know, sometimes I like to use cut files to dictate my entire layout. Sometimes I like to use cut files just as small extra add-ins, and so that's what I'm doing today. They're just going to be little accents. And since this is a fun, bright, tropical color layout, I'm going to, you know, make this floral heavy with the embellishments. There's some Vicky Booten flowers. There's these Dear Lizzie stickers. There's some Amy Tangerine goodies in here, more Stamp Market, some pink paisley, a whole variety of mix and match. So it was a challenge to not use everything. So I wanted to kind of fade out some of the background. The more I looked at this background, the more it was bugging me for some reason. It looks different on camera, but in person when I was making it, it was just, the edges were a little too crisp, and I wanted to kind of fade them out and make them a little hazy. So I smudged the edges a little bit with some white gesso. And then I went back to the stickers, and I decided to use this gorgeous bird. It's got purple in it, and there's no purple on the background, but I had to use it because it was gorgeous. So I went ahead and trimmed off the edges of the bird and some of the flower stickers, and then I came back to the background. I could not get it the way I wanted it. I could not get the exact color that I was looking for, so I pulled out some orangey / reddish color gelatos from my stash, smudged a little bit of that on there, and then kind of decided to fade out right where the picture is going to go, the rays behind that area. So I just decided to use my fingers and smudge some white gesso to kind of lighten it up a little bit. And in the end, it really, you can't even really tell this. I wind up not even worrying about it after I do it, because I feel like it looked fine the way it was. Sometimes I have ideas in my head and I try to do it, and it really doesn't even make that big of a difference. So I just kind of take a turn and do something else instead. But it just kind of lightens up the area a little bit. I didn't want to lighten it up too much because the bold colors are what drive this paper. So I just wanted a little softer area around where the picture is. That way it kind of pops off the colors a little bit more and stands out just a bit more. So that's pretty much why I like to use gesso on bright colors like that. Alright, so I did want to add white splatters because these colors are so dark and bold and gorgeous. That is a perfect opportunity for white splatters. And so when I do that, I like to water down white acrylic paint and then just use my brush. And you can see it instantly pops and it just looks really, really cool. So I'm going to do that on the sunburst part. And it just winds up adding a little something extra to it, I think. And it looks a lot better once everything is added back on top of it. I say that a lot, but it's true. Sometimes when you make your backgrounds, they can look like a hot mess, but they totally change once you bring everything back on top of it. So I really like how that's looking, and I'm going to go ahead and start to build everything behind my picture. I'm going to start out with some white tissue paper here. I like to use that as a little bit of a texture border around the picture. It's just very subtle. It gives it a little bit of a crooked, uneven layer. And then I'm going to pull in some other things. I'm going to use this bright blue frame, but I'm going to use it as a layer. And then I'm going to use Pocket Life card. And I felt like since I've got that red-orange color on the background that I would go with blue layers. Because I did want to, you know, have blue on the layout since this is a tropical layout. And she is in the pool. Even though it's a black and white photo, I still wanted to kind of add some blue because blue is my favorite color. And I just felt like that was a nice contrast color against that reddish orange. And then I'm going to put that bird right on top of the picture. And usually, you know, since it's got purple on it, I would shy away from using it on this layout because there's no purple on the background. But for some reason, it just goes. It just matches, and I felt like it was the perfect thing to add right there. And then I'm going to come back and just continue to kind of rebuild all of the layers behind the photo. I wanted to use a bunch of flowers, but if you look, the big flowers that are the die cuts on the left there that are from Vicki Boutin are like a totally different style of flower than those little flowers from the Dear Lizzie sticker sheet. So I don't know, it kind of bugged me when I was mixing and matching the style of flowers. I know that's so nitpicky and stupid, but for some reason it was bothering me. So I just decided to hold off on the big Vicki Boutin flowers. I'm going to use those on another layout, and I just went with the smaller tropical colored ones from the Dear Lizzie sticker sheet. And I was able to pull in some of those big tropical leaf stickers too. And I tried to use the little palm tree stickers in a few places several times, just did not work. And I really wanted to use that black camera. I tried to use it several times and I just could not find the right place for it. So it went back in the pile for another layout on another day. All right, so yeah, I'm not done with the background. I pulled out a red gelato this time and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm so weird when it comes to backgrounds. I don't know why. And it doesn't even look like it matches on the screen here. I think in the end, it does match. The lights are never true to the exact colors that I'm working with here. And it's completely been rainy all weekend. And so the lighting outside totally affects the lighting in my scrap room, even though I have lights. So yeah, I promise in the end, it looks okay. And then I decided to kind of smudge the edges along that washi tape. So that's what I was using the gesso for, to kind of bring the color up and down. And I like how that looks. It just gives it a little hazy, smudgy look. And then I am trimming off the white border on a lot of these stickers just because I felt like the white edges sort of made them stand out a little too much, if that makes sense. I wanted them to blend in a little bit more. So that's why I like to trim that off a lot of the times. And then I wanted some more blue and that dark green color up top. There's really not a lot of that, so I'm going to mix some light blue thread with some of that dark green thread down at the bottom. I only have the blue under there at this point, but I'm going to bring in some dark green right there. And I think it's going to really pull that deep green color to that area of the layout. Even though I'm not a deep green fan, it works in this layout because of the tropical dark green color of the leaves. And yeah, I just felt like it worked great. So I'm going to start to glue things down because I don't want to move it. If I move it, I'll never get it back like I have it. So very, very carefully start to glue it all down. And I'm really, really loving how this is turning out. All right, so for the title, we get these really fun, bright pink puffy stickers, and this gorgeous paper from the Stamp Market. There's all kinds of words to use in a title there, and I saw the words Lost In, and I thought, ooh, Lost in Summer. That's a title I've never used before, so I fussy cut Lost In. And then on these pink thickers, the word summer is in there 3 or 4 times, and it's big, it's small, you've got some that's in cursive, so you got quite a bit of summer action going on there, and I love how that looks. I love the mix and match of the black and the pink, and in the different fonts. I'm going to use some of these Amy Tangerine, really thick, puffy stickers, or at least one of them. I tried a couple, but I think I use some of the flowers and a heart also. But I put that little lime green piece up at the top. I think it says So Fun. And then, yeah, these little tiny glittery flowers that match the colors that I've got going on in a couple places. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down the title, Lost In. And then I am going to have to add glue behind Summer because I have gesso and all kinds of stuff behind there, and things never want to stick if there's gesso involved. So I did add some glue behind Summer. And then I wanted to create a little small cluster of things kind of underneath the word summer. And these little orange sunglasses were just calling to me. They were the perfect color, the perfect size, and they're just adorable. So I'm going to add that in for a pop of orange. And then I think underneath that, I'm going to add in some of the light blue thread. Again, I wanted a pop of blue. I like to kind of bring in all of the colors if I'm going to make a cluster, or as many as I can. So that's what I'm going to do here. And I don't want anything huge, so I'm just looking for some small things here. I tried the palm tree again, didn't work. And I did pop the sunglasses up with some adhesive foam there. I'm going to use this little lime green sticker that says yes, and that's from Pink Paisley, that sticker sheet. See what I mean? There's just so many things. Everything is so pretty. So many different things. I mean, I just spread everything out when I opened these kits, and I thought, oh, what am I going to do? Where am I going to start? It's just overwhelming with beautiful things. Stamp Market stickers there. I used a little sticker. I wound up taking it off because I felt like it was so small I couldn't even really see it. So I'm going to replace that with something else in that area. I decided to go with some butterflies, black and white. There's a ton of black and white butterflies in the stickers, and I believe there's a pattern paper with just black and white butterflies also. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue just to the center so I can flip the wings up. Because, you know, butterflies got to fly, so their wings need to be up off the page. And the journaling is going to go right there underneath the sunglasses because that's the perfect spot for it. And I like to use my T-square ruler there to make sure the lines are straight. And my pen is a black fine tip Sharpie, which I love. And then later I took a break, I came back and decided that I wanted to add some blue splatters. And so I mixed and matched some products from previous kits. I mixed and matched a couple of the Lindy sprays with the green Art Philosophy color that we got in the April kits. Just trying to make a really pretty color between the blue and the green is what it winds up being. But I just wanted to add some splatters of that. So I do that a little bit around the page. And I just mixed it on some plastic there. And then I didn't want it to be too dark, so I dab it up before it really has time to soak in. And then I wanted to go back to some of those cut file flowers from before, and I'm going to add in a couple of those down here on the white space around the journaling. And I'm just going to leave them white because I felt like white on white was good. I wanted some open white space, but since the flowers were cut on white cardstock, you still get the idea of the flower, but it's not another color or it's not another pattern, so it's not going to take away from the white space area. So I decided to add that in, and then the last thing I'm going to do is add in some black splatters. And I'm just using shimmers from my stash for that. But anyway, there's the final layout. I love so much how this turned out. Vicki Boutin, that paper, oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Thank you so much for making it. I love it so much. I had a blast making this. I hope you guys are inspired. I hope you are enjoying your May kits. They are overflowing with beautiful things. I mean, I know I say that every month, but it's true. They just, everything is always so pretty and matches so well, and it's, you know, it's so hard to pick and choose where to start because everything looks good. But yeah, anyway, I hope this gives you some ideas. I hope you will give that sunburst paper a try. I cannot wait to see how you guys use it. And let me know if you have any questions or, you know, if I forgot to mention anything at all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you have a great week.